It is possible. State Treasurer Dale Folwell is here to answer your questions about unclaimed cash. We're talking everything from that unclaimed cash to your pension. You can text your questions to us at 336-379-5775. State Treasurer Folwell, as always, thank you for joining us. The first question everybody likes to talk about is the unclaimed cash. Why is this such a big deal in our state?
Well, the reason it's a big deal is it's an opportunity for me to be a part of giving people's money back to them that has been sitting at the Treasurer's office in many instances for years. NC Cash is not a gimmick. There's nearly $1 billion sitting at the NC Cash Department of the Treasurer's office. And people often question how it got there. It's a paycheck that never got delivered to you, or you never cashed it, a rent deposit, a life insurance policy that you had forgotten about, or maybe even a stock dividend. So we just broke all records, Chad, paying out over $73 million out of NC Cash to over 125,000 people in the last 12 months.
I think a lot of people would think, well, if you've got all this money sitting around, you know whose money it is. Why don't you just reach out to them and tell them about it? But I can't imagine it's that easy.
It's not that easy. One reason is we have 17 million records and 11 million citizens. So you can imagine how difficult it would be to match that up. Secondly, obviously, if a check was mailed to you that you never cashed, it could be that you moved. So people go to nccash.com, look up their name, maiden name, kids, parents, church, nonprofit, business name. There's no charge to look up their name and no charge to get what's owed them. And it's another valuable reason for what Sue wants to know.
I'm glad that you brought up the website too, because Tanya has talked about in the past how there are fake websites out there trying to mimic the state's website. So you'll put in all your information and then, well, you know what happens after that. So one more time, if you could just give us that website.
The website is nccash.com, and there's never a charge to look up your name and never a charge to claim.
Got it. Do you have any recent success stories that you can share with us? I imagine a lot of people may be surprised by the amount of money that they find out that the state has.
The biggest one, as I've been the state treasurer for 4.5 years, is $600,000 to a beneficiary of a life insurance policy. She didn't know that she was the beneficiary. But the sweetest one recently was $100 that was given to a lady 43 years ago in Paramount Studios stock. And on the stock certificate, it said, "Because I think you'll be a star one day." That was given to her by her godparents. That $100 Paramount Studios stock got bought up by Coca-Cola. It split 8-for-1. That $100 became $29,000. So it's not just cash, but also securities and tangible items.
That is incredible. And I'm sure as the state treasurer, you enjoy giving people this payday they weren't expecting.
Well, we're in the check delivery business, and what that means is not only do we deliver pension checks to those that taught, protected, or otherwise served, healthcare and pharmaceutical checks for active and retired state employees, but also NC Cash.
That is so cool. And so I've looked up my name multiple times, hoping that maybe there would be something there. And unfortunately, there hasn't been something there. Well, so you named about the top 3 things that you would see, or a reason why the state would have your money. Are there any unusual reasons the state might have your money?
Well, the most unusual items we have are things that come to us through lock boxes. The bankers who watch your show know that anytime that a lock box in a bank is abandoned after all attempts to find out who the rightful owner of those possessions are, eventually all that has to get sent to the treasurer's office. So as you can imagine, we have some baby teeth, some silver teeth, gold teeth, false teeth, all kinds of things that people leave in lock boxes. But to be far more reverent for a moment, we were able to return some World War II medals recently to a family who'd been looking for them for 14 years. A Purple Heart to a gentleman who had been looking for that for a long time, and a pocket watch that is inscribed with the name Woodrow Wilson inside. So it's normally cash and securities, but also there's some tangible items there. If you have a loved one who has lost possession or thoughts about their lockbox, check nccash.com.
Boy, that is incredible to finally get a hold of something like that after, it's been yours for so long, you just didn't realize it. So State Treasurer, someone had sent us a text message saying that their mom is deceased and they want to know what they need to do to claim the money.
What they can do to claim the money is go to nccash.com. And it's very important. Every dollar matters at the treasurer's office, every penny and every paperclip. But obviously, if a person has been deceased for a long period of time and there's $36 sitting there, it's not financially worth it to reopen an estate. But just imagine if there's $100,000 worth of life insurance proceeds sitting there, even if the parent's been deceased for a long period of time, obviously that would be worth putting a bow on. And just another valuable reason to go to nccash.com. And it's just fun to look up your name. If your last name's Folwell, we're from Archdale, Allen J area. There's not many of them in the state. We've been here a century. You can just punch in all kinds of names because it's all public record. But be sure to punch in your church, nonprofit, and your business name also.
Yeah, so this question is kind of along those lines too. This person said, my dad has passed, but his name is on there, but with a very old address. How would my mom claim?
We can sort of guide you on that. There could be an old tax return, an old utility bill. I'm sure this person's parents are as old as I am, maybe even younger than I am. We keep things, and you would be able to have some evidence of that they lived at that old address, even though they may live at a new address.
Okay. State Treasurer Dale Folwell, one segment down, one to go. Thank you again for your time, sir, and we will be right back.